What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I really wanted to talk about like anxiety and how to overcome it and some things that helped me overcome my anxiety. A little backstory. I suffered from anxiety for a very long time, just growing up, and then it got to a point back in high school and college that I was getting help and I was being prescribed medicine, and it was consuming my life. And just so you know now, like, I'm no longer on any medicine, no more antidepressants, and no more anxiety medicine. And I know that's not for everyone, but I wanted to give you some tips that might help you overcome your anxiety, things that have helped me. Yeah, so let's get to it. So before we get into my tips, like, there's anxiety that we all experience. You know, maybe you like procrastinated something, or you're nervous for something, or you have an anxiety disorder, and maybe you've had an anxiety attack before and it's scary. But those who suffer with anxiety, you know, we tend to think on the negative, worst case scenario, and we think that way because if we fail, it like kind of gives us the excuse, because, like, you know, we were thinking negatively, versus if we were positive and optimistic, we told the world, we got excited, and then we failed, we like avoid that embarrassment, we avoid that failure, and so we want like the excuse as to why we failed. And sometimes anxiety can stop us from being who we are, doing what we love, reaching your goals, having good, healthy relationships in your life. It can make it hard to think, and it can just kind of like paralyze you sometimes, right? Because in your mind, you're just thinking worst case scenario, your fear of judgment, or maybe you have anxieties of different things, but it makes life hard, and that's not what life is worth living for. We weren't meant to have anxiety and these fears, and it's not how we were created to be. So let's go into some tangible tips and tools you can maybe start applying to help overcome this anxiety. Some things that I have done in my life. Okay, my first tip is to stop replaying or practicing or censoring what you're going to say when you're speaking to people or doing something. When we are consumed by anxiety, we want to be perfectionists. We don't want to offend anyone, or we don't want to say something wrong and make us look stupid and have people laugh at us or judge us. And we replay things, you know, when we try to say the perfect thing in the perfect way at the perfect time. Stop doing that. You are driving yourself more and more crazy. You need to just start saying things the way you feel at that certain time, and try to embrace, like, that's who you are. And if people judge you, okay. If people make fun of you, okay, that's on them. Or if people took it wrong or got impacted, like, and they're taking it personally, that's on them. Maybe you triggered a spot that, you know, they have a past trauma or a past thing that they need to deal with. You can't worry so much about what others are going to think or how they're going to take what you say or perceive so bad to the point where you don't say anything at all, or you don't say anything that's not true to you, right? And when we get consumed by this anxiety and we're so worried about the outside world, you know, that's when we don't ask for what we need or what we want, or we don't share our ideas because we think we're stupid. And that one relates to me so much. In school, I would literally like think about the responses of if a teacher were to call on me so much, because I was so scared of looking stupid or being judged, or I was always embarrassed to raise my hand and share my idea of what I wanted to do, just because I didn't think I was good enough. And like, just like that feeling, that anxious feeling came inside, and I wasn't embracing who I was. And the anxiety obviously got worse and worse throughout the years. So I would say slowly stop replaying everything in your head, stop worrying about how others are going to perceive you, and slowly start speaking your mind and speaking what feels right in your heart. Share your ideas, share your thoughts, share your perspectives, because we were all made uniquely. We were all meant to have different ideas, different belief systems, different thought patterns for a reason. And if you're trying to fit in or worrying so much inside, like how others are going to see you, you're not being true to who you are, and that's going to build up more anxiety inside, because you're not being true to who you are, and you're just constantly worrying and replaying. And honestly, it's not worth it. Like, if you're worried about a situation to come, take a big deep breath and be like, you know what, I'm going to worry and stress or whatever when the time comes, but not now. Because if you're stressing about it now and it's tomorrow, you're putting your body through that same stress and those worries twice, and it's not meant to happen that way. You're meant to experience it once, and maybe you don't even need to. Maybe, how many times have you worried about something, saying something, and you had nothing to worry about because they took it perfectly fine? You need to stop that and just let that worry or stress happen in the moment, not days or weeks before. When you start you know, slowly sharing your mind or ideas. Start with the people you love and you trust the most. This is going to start giving you some confidence, and the feeling of freedom and that like heavy pressure on your neck, or I mean not on your neck, on your chest, at least that's what I used to feel, will slowly be lifted and you will feel more free. Okay? And this is easier said than done. Just know that all these tips will take time, but if you're putting the effort consciously every single day to improve yourself, you're gonna get there. All right, my second tip kind of goes into that. Stop thinking worst case scenario. What is that doing for you? You're just getting worked up and freaking out for the worst case scenario. And okay, whatever, like at least you know the worst case scenario, but start thinking more positively. What you focus on, what you think, slowly attracts. And so your mind does not know the difference between what's being shown, like in reality, versus when you close your eyes and what you're feeling and telling it to you. So if you're thinking worst case scenario and it happened, it's probably because you kind of attracted it to you. So think about worst case scenario, but let that go. Be like, okay, worst case scenario, this happens, this is how I'm going to handle it. But then shift your mindset and start thinking of the good and positive things and how you actually want the situation to go. Because if you focus on what you want, you're more likely to attract what you want versus focusing on what you don't want, and that's going to happen, okay? So stop focusing on worst case scenario. It's not worth putting yourself in your mind through that worst case feelings, worries, and everything twice, okay? Don't do it. Acknowledge both scenarios, the good and the bad. Acknowledge that the bad might happen, how you'll handle it, but put it to rest, set it aside, and put energy in what you want happening. That's truly what has happened to me. It's how I've created my life. It's helped my anxiety when I'm like, whoa, what is this negative worst scenario thought pattern doing to me? It's not serving you. So I just become aware of my thoughts and I shift them into things I want and more positive things that make me feel good. Third thing is to spend more time with the people who love you and treat you good and lift you up and believe in you. Stop hanging out with the people who are negative, who put you down, who just think life is always, you know, happening against them, life isn't happening for them, like those negative self-doubts. Because when you surround the 5 people you spend your most time with, that's who you become. You become the average of the 5 people. So start surrounding yourself with people who are positive, uplifting, loving, and who treat you good and are there for you, whether your thoughts or beliefs or ideas maybe aren't aligned to them, but they love you and they accept you for who you are. Start spending more time with those people. You're gonna feel more confident with who you are and the thoughts that you're having, and you can open up about your anxieties and they can help you handle it, versus people who are just gonna put you down, make your anxieties worse, and like egg on to that negative, anxious feeling, right? I've been those people. Those are toxic people. You need to slowly let them go. And if that is your family, start limiting your time with them and start surrounding yourself with the family you choose to be, who lift you up and love you for who you are. There's no point in surrounding yourself and allowing those negative people to control your life. It's your life, so don't let them consume you. Like, ask yourself, like, what is wrong with being treated well and loved and uplifted? Nothing. Those are the people you want to hang out with. There's no reason for you to be being treated or surrounding yourself with those other negative people. And I know it might be hard if you need to cut ties, but it's one of the best things you can do. It's things I had to do, and it's hard, but just slowly drift your way. You're not defined by your past. You don't have to hang out or be the person you were in your past. This is who you are now, and start focusing on the person you're becoming. And that person you're becoming doesn't want to have anxiety and doesn't want to live in this negative worst case scenario world, right? You don't want that. So start focusing on what you want in the life and the people you want to surround yourself with, love and joy, because when you're surrounded by that love, joy, and peace, it's so hard to feel anxious. And just know that, like, you're always going to have anxiety, like, here to here, but there's a difference between when you're waking up and anxiety and always anxious. Maybe it's because you're not living a life aligned. That was me. I was not aligned to who I was. I was living my life based on like how other people wanted to, and I was just so anxious all the time. I would have panic attacks because I was so worried about like what I was just so worried and living my life based on others and pleasing others versus myself. And when I started let's go into my fourth tip is putting yourself first. Start connecting with yourself and giving your love and that love and embracing who you truly are and finding out who you truly are. Uncovering those and like uncovering the fears and the doubts and limiting beliefs and choosing not to believe in them. And it's hard. Like those things are gonna come in your head and you know, sneakily, and you're not even going to notice it, but the number one thing is to become aware and to choose not to believe those little negative, egotistic, like, thoughts in your head, and start choosing ones that lift you up. Embrace who you are. When you connect deeper with yourself, and when you connect deeper with yourself and start treating yourself, like, treating treating yourself the way you do when you treat your loved ones, you're going to find that inner peace and that inner worth and self-love, and like you're going to feel more confident in who you are to speak your mind, and slowly the anxieties will go away because you're learning how to embrace who you are and stepping into that power and that confidence. Because if you treat yourself like you would treat like your loved ones, your best friends, your parents, you'll know what's best for you and you'll know what you want. But if you're treating yourself like you're not good enough and you're beating yourself up, you're just allowing those negative, anxious thoughts and tendencies to keep coming into your life. You need to choose thoughts that serve you and that make you feel good, and ones that are loving and empowering. Because think about it, like the most important relationship we have in our entire lives are the ones with ourselves. And when we are not connected with ourselves and we're not building a relationship with ourselves, that's when things slip in, thoughts, beliefs, mean things, negative, those slip in. But when you become more aligned and connected and have that relationship with yourself, and you know who you are and the thoughts and what it is you want, you won't have the anxieties so much, because you're like, no, this is me and I'm okay with it. Instead of being like, oh my God, are people gonna like me? Are they gonna judge me? Are they gonna laugh at me? And having all those anxieties come in. No, you're gonna be okay with it and be like, you know what? I'm not gonna love everyone. Not everyone's gonna love me, but I love me, and that's all that matters. And a few last tips to help you when it comes to with these things is meditation and journaling. When you're feeling anxious, write those feelings down and those thought patterns down and look at them and ask yourself, where are these thoughts coming from? Where are these feelings coming from? And are they serving you? And if they aren't, it's time to make new thoughts, and those thoughts will lead into new feelings. So if you're feeling anxious and negative and anxious and negative, think about the thoughts that you're thinking, and then be like, okay, wow, these thoughts aren't serving me. Let's think some more positive thoughts. Everything is the power of thought. So journaling allows you to see, like, it just allows you to like see how you're feeling, but it also allows you to get those anxious feelings and thoughts out of your chest, out of your mind. Stop dwelling and letting them spiral. And they allow you to kind of put it on paper, acknowledge it, and you can kind of let it go by closing the notebook and walking away. It's like, I'm a venter. Like, I like to vent, to talk to people, especially when I'm anxious, but journaling has been a really great thing. And also meditating. Meditating allows you to connect deeper with yourself, and allows you to be focused on the present moment, and it allows you to sit there and become aware of the thoughts that you're feeling. And like, if you're sitting in that moment, present moment, when you're feeling anxious, take a step back, breathe, close your eyes, and you say, okay, what thoughts are coming into my head that are making me feel anxious? And meditating just allows you to make the conscious awareness of observing your thoughts and making that shift. So those meditating and journaling have been really, really big, powerful things that I have done to help combat my anxiety, take more control of it, not allow it to control my life. I have control over my thoughts and my feelings, and it has allowed me to connect deeper with myself. That allows me to feel more confident in myself and love myself, which allows me to, choose the people I surround myself with that are more loving and, encouraging, which allows me to stop thinking, worst case scenarios, and stop fearing and replaying how everyone's going to perceive me as, and where all those anxieties, stem from. So take a step back, learn how to connect deeper with yourself. I highly recommend journaling how you're feeling, the thoughts you're feeling, meditating. It can be a 5-minute meditation that has honestly helped me every single day. I do a meditation in the morning. I start my days calm, grounded, stress-free, very, very peaceful, and it lingers into my day. So just remember, your anxiety does not define you. You can overcome it. It will take time, it will take patience, and it might make you, it might have you start to go see someone, a coach, a therapist, to kind of work through these things and more step-by-step game plans for your specific situation and your anxieties, and if that's what you need, go for it. I have had coaches, I've had therapists that have helped me, but I really do hope these tips help. And just know that anxiety does not define you. It's not who you are. You can choose to slowly detach yourself from those feelings, those thoughts, and that anxious. You are not anxiety. Okay? You can choose to let it go, and just know, like, I still have anxiety, but I'm able to take more control of it and take a step back and breathe and have these tools that work for me. and it all started by me connecting deeper with myself. All right, I really, really hope these tips help. If you need anything or if you want some help and guidance, send me an email below or post a comment below. I'm always here to help, and I really hope these videos help you in whatever journey it is that you're on. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe this video if it relates to you and you want to see more content like this. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.